Isaiah, Alexis, both look so happy, so radiant. And Alexis, you look beautiful. The pandemic has certainly made holding events like this challenging, but you both, being mature Christians that want to honor Jehovah, it comes as no surprise that you went to extraordinary lengths to hold this Christian ceremony. And of course, I might add to do so safely. We appreciate that. When Jehovah instituted this divine arrangement, it was meant for the lasting benefit and happiness of his earthly children. Now, Adam, Jehovah's first perfect earthly son, was given a divine commission to fill the earth and subdue it. That is, bring it under proper human control. And it's obvious this commission required more than just Adam. And so Jehovah performed the first marriage when he brought the first woman, Eve, to Adam. Now, Eve's role in the fulfillment of this divine commission was absolutely essential. She was a helper and a complement to Adam. And this divine arrangement, this union, was meant to be permanent. This is what we read at Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, after Jehovah brought Eve to Adam. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24. That is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife, and they will become one flesh. Interestingly, another Bible version reads that last part this way. The two of them will become like one person. No, so Jehovah views this union as making you one complete person with respect to his divine will. Now, we also read in the Holy Scriptures that Jehovah is a God of love and that he is a happy God. So it only makes perfect sense that Jehovah wants these same qualities to be reflected in an honorable marriage. But it's no secret that the world that we live in is not at all kind to marriages. Now, for a Christian marriage to last, especially in love and in happiness, God must be put first in life and his advice followed by both marriage mates. Now, we liken marriage to a twofold cord. The two cords intertwine, represent both marriage mates as united and mutually supportive. But when love for God is added to a marriage, it becomes what the scriptures call a threefold cord. As if Jehovah were party to the marriage, the scriptures say this combination cannot easily be torn apart. Now, you both are already familiar with God's counsel and advice found in the scriptures. And because Jehovah knows our physical and our emotional makeup better than ourselves, or any human marriage counselor for that matter, that counsel and advice found in the scriptures can be fully, completely trusted. And what can help you draw closer to each other and to Jehovah is getting into a regular routine of studying the Bible, praying, and worshiping together. So now, your familiarity with God's counsel and advice for Christian husbands and Christian wives will be put to the test because you finally get to experience putting all of this into practice. And we're going to briefly review what each of you should be able to expect from the other in your role as Christian husband or Christian wife. And Isaiah, we'll start with you. At 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3, we are given a headship arrangement. In this arrangement, the man, the husband, was appointed by God as head of the family. That means that you are responsible, Isaiah, for supplying your family's material, spiritual, emotional, and even recreational needs. In the world that we live in, one vital aspect of headship that is commonly neglected or delegated by the husband is taking the lead in worship, unfortunately, supplying that spiritual need. It's not uncommon to see the wife take on that role as spiritual head, but that's not how Jehovah arranged it. You see, it's very important that the husband be the one to do this for the sake of balancing Christian family life. And it should go without saying that this divine appointment is not an allowance for the husband to act like a tyrant, of course, not to be domineering. You know, in the scriptures at Ephesians chapter 5, it states that the husband is to follow the example of Christ as the head of the congregation. We're going to take a look at that. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 25, 28, and 29. Ephesians 5, 25, 28, and 9. Husbands, continue loving your wives just as the Christ also loved the congregation and gave himself up for it. And 28 and 29. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. A man who loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cherishes it, just as the Christ does the congregation. So in the scriptures, Jesus is appropriately likened to a husband and the congregation likened to a bride to him. Now, and the most outstanding description of Jesus' love for the congregation was that he was willing to give his life for it. But not just to that extreme. You see, in things so much less significant than that, like not reacting harshly to ones who may have technically done something wrong, but he realized there were circumstances that called more for understanding and compassion. Or, for example, when Jesus took people away from the crowd to heal them, and that was because he detected that they felt uncomfortable with so many people around. He was sensitive to these things. So in these ways, he demonstrated that he unselfishly put others first. And people enjoyed Jesus' company. They found him to be mild-tempered and refreshing. Throughout your marriage, Isaiah, it's important that your wife, for the most part, prefer your company over that of anybody else, including those that she may refer to as her best friends. Now, referring back to Ephesians chapter 5, it mentioned that a husband should love his wife as his own body. Well, just as no sane man will ever hate or be brutal to his own body, no Christian husband would ever act violently angry toward his wife in word or in action, nor should there ever be any beratement of her. There simply isn't any allowance, any justification whatsoever for a Christian husband to treat his wife in that manner. And now, Alexis, it really goes without saying that you wish to be a wife who is dearly loved and cherished. And your personal study of the scriptures has shown you that a wife's role in marriage is one of honor and dignity. For example, at 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, a Christian husband is instructed to honor his wife. So when the scriptures speak of the wife as being a complement, that is not by any means demeaning, as if she is being equated with a slave or inferior as a person. Absolutely not. Now, true, the principle of headship still applies, but we have to remember that that headship arrangement exists to promote marital success and happiness. Jehovah commanded that there be relative subjection to imperfect human authority in general, so it is for the general human good. And as much as Isaiah would like to, Isaiah, or any Christian husband for that matter, is incapable of providing perfect human leadership. But imagine for a moment a family without any leadership whatsoever. The end result would certainly be discord, confusion, and of course, unhappiness. And when the scriptures speak of the wife as having deep respect for her husband, it's evident by her cooperation with him as opposed to competition. or when he makes a mistake or a bad decision, which he certainly will, deep respect will prevent a belittling reaction, but rather there will be understanding because everyone makes mistakes, right? Now, when the scriptures speak of the wife as being a helper, it would be wrong to think of that role as an assistant because a Christian wife can do so much to make the home life pleasant and happy. And one way is by looking to her husband for decisions and doing her part to make them succeed, which goes back again to that point about cooperation rather than competition. And finally, the scriptures admonish Christians to clothe themselves with love, and that counsel certainly applies to both mates. Just as clothing protects the body, love safeguards marital unity. And clothing can also enhance the appearance of the wearer, just as love can add luster to Jehovah's marvelous provision of marriage. For that reason, look for ways to show love for each other every single day. And a simple way to do that is to set aside time to talk to and really listen to each other like good friends, the way your relationship had its start as good friends, right? Now, when a husband and wife make it a habit to show kindness to each other, even in little things such as tender words and acts of affection, they strengthen the marriage bond. So, by sticking to the arrangement of Christian headship and displaying Christ-like love, you will experience the joys of marriage and the truth of these divinely inspired words: love never fails. And now we have two questions, a question for each of you, that is. So, Isaiah, do you, Isaiah, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Alexis to be your wedded wife, to love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands, for as long as you both may live? Your answer? I do. Okay. Alexis, do you, Alexis, in the presence of Jehovah God and these witnesses, take Isaiah to be your wedded husband, to love and to cherish and deeply respect in accordance with the divine law as outlined in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives, for as long as you both may live? I do. Now, who gives this woman to be married to this man? I do. Thank you, Brother Keldro. Now for the vows. So you will each be repeating after me. Isaiah, we'll begin with you. Go ahead. All right. I, Isaiah, take you, Alexis, to be my wedded wife.
I, Isaiah, take you, Alexis, to be my wedded wife.
To love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law.
To love and to cherish in accordance with the divine law.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian husbands.
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
For as long as we both shall live together forever on earth.
According to God's marital arrangement.
According to God's marital arrangement.
Now, Alexis, you take the microphone, please. I, Alexis, take you, Isaiah, to be my wedded husband.
I, Alexis, take you, Isaiah, to be my wedded husband.
To love and to cherish and deeply respect.
To love and to cherish and deeply respect.
In accordance with the divine law.
In accordance with the divine law.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives.
As set forth in the Holy Scriptures for Christian wives.
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
For as long as we both shall live together on earth.
According to God's marital arrangement.
According to God's marital arrangement.
Now I understand that there are rings to be exchanged. So these rings, excuse me. These rings are an outward and visible sign signifying unto all the uniting of this man and this woman in the bonds of matrimony. Isaiah, you may. Alexis, you may. So, for as much as Isaiah and Alexis have covenanted before Jehovah God and these witnesses to accept each other in wedlock, I, as an ordained minister, and by the authority conferred upon me by the Holy Scriptures and the state of California, pronounce that they are husband and wife together. What God has yoked together, let no man put apart. And now we're going to ask for Jehovah's blessing on this occasion. Amen. So it is my happy pleasure to introduce to this marriage gathering brother and sister Torres. And you may kiss your bride. Okay, is that it?
You're good. A few words for those watching through the stream. Wanted to say thank you so very much for everyone who tuned in. No, this isn't how we envisioned our wedding, but that's all right. Certainly living in this world, unforeseen circumstances happen, and we greatly appreciate all who have tuned in and the support that you have given both Alexis and I over the past few months and even a year that we've been together. Muchas gracias a todos que están mirando al stream. Ya sabemos que les gustaríamos que estaban aquí, pero tal vez no se puede hacer ahorita por el virus, pero muchas gracias a todos que están mirando al live stream. Any words, babe?
Yeah, thank you all so much for logging in. And this whole year has been a little crazy and difficult and stressful, but having all of you that have been supportive of us and having our back, it has really made it so much easier. And so we really appreciate everything, friends, family, for supporting us. It really has meant the world and has been our strength throughout all of this. So we really appreciate it, and we love all of you. And of course, those who are here, we appreciate them for going through the pain of getting tested and doing the whole thing to be here. So we appreciate everything. So thank you all, and we love you.
Thank you all once again, and that's going to conclude the live stream. Guys, have a good Sunday.